the big thing about it is, I think it goes back to, if we even step out of the technology for a moment and we just take a look at kind of the macro trends that are happening in the world. And so what do I mean by that is, what is putting pressure on the technology that then is putting external pressure, external forces to our organizations, that's putting internal pressure onto organizations, and then of course on L&D teams. And I would say it's this whole disruption to the whole construct of what we think of as expertise. And so what I mean by that is expertise in all of the domains, including in learning and talent development, has always been sort of, number one, gatekeepers, right? Like it's always been somebody decides like how and when, somebody learns, or what the development plans or development path or career progression for other individuals or other populations. There's somebody who's overseeing all of that. And so when it comes to expertise, it's kind of been like sort of exclusive, right? Like, it's professional advice that's only been relegated to, a small number of people and only accessible to a small number of people. And what's happening is that the majority of people around the world, I mean, we now have 8 billion people on the planet, like that's the size of the population, and we are quickly accelerating towards 10 billion. And what's happening with all of these technologies, starting with the internet, going into mobile devices, connecting us all in social, cloud, technology, is all of that is now converging into this pressure that people want access to to expertise and professional advice in real time. And so they're not necessarily going to wait for somebody else, a gatekeeper, to say, hey, this is what it is that you need to learn right now. And so that pressure on the professions, and I would say this is true across legal, this is true across medical, and this is definitely true across learning and development, is that these technologies, and especially now with the advent of generative AI, is actually allowing the democratization of expertise. And you can even hear it in what it is that Satya Nadella was talking about in his keynote. And there's a common theme in the messaging across Microsoft Build this week, is that we're not talking about the era of information anymore. This isn't the information age. This is the expertise and intelligence age. And we're seeing in a sweep of tools like generative AI, low code, no code tools for people to be able to, so citizen developers to be able to program their own apps, again, without having to have the expertise of, somebody who's in a role as a programmer. And so that to me is the big disruption that is happening, that artificial intelligence is just a part of kind of this larger macro scheme.